If a franchise lasts long enough, eventually it has phrases that it becomes famous for, that it becomes known for. From the TV show Friends, when Joey says something like, "Je t'appelle plus," when he's trying to learn to speak French, to Doctor Who, when River Song says, "Spoilers, darling," to our very own Transformers, which is full of famous phrases. Everything from "I can't deal with that now" to "we're all gonna die," and everything in between. Well, today, after amassing and counting up all the fan votes, we're going to count down the top 10 Transformers quotes as voted on by the fans in the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe. And while you're at it, baby, light them up and hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers, Collectors, NL, and the Autobot family. Have a look for me everywhere across social media. And if you want to really help the channel, you can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course you can hit the join button and become a channel member right here on YouTube. All of those links and more are down in the description, man. And this is going to be the countdown of the top 10 kind of most famous, most notable, most memorable, whatever you want to call it, quotes in the Transformers franchise as voted on by the fans. And there were votes that came in for all kinds of phrases, all kinds of dialogues, everything from, you know, "give me your face" to, what else? "me Grimlock kick butt," and everything in between. But nothing that I've mentioned so far, despite getting votes, made the honorable mentions or the top 10 list. So we're going to kick it off with the honorable mentions first, and we have, of course, 5 of them. The honorable mentions, as always, they got enough votes that they came close to getting on the list, but didn't quite make it. The first in the honorable mentions is when, I'm not sure if it's Rumble or if it's Frenzy, could be either one depending on your perspective, says, "Hey, nobody calls Soundwave uncharismatic," after Starscream jettisons Megatron's body off of Astro Train, and they're kind of bickering over who will be the next leader. Speaking of Megatron, that sort of brings us to the second honorable mention. At a time when he asks Starscream, after berating him, that he didn't know if Starscream was lying or if he was just stupid, to which Starscream says, I believe on bended knee, "I'm stupid, I'm stupid." Naturally, that's a well-known one and kind of a funny one, but it didn't quite make the list. We also have in the honorable mentions one that we've heard Optimus say ever so many times: "Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost." That one didn't quite make it either. Me Grimlock no bozo, me king, or "me Grimlock no something, me king." Some people said a whole bunch of things, like "me Grimlock no doctor, me king," "me Grimlock no, no kisser, me king." Any of those kind of went lumped together. They got a few votes each, so I lumped them together, enough to get on the honorable mentions, not enough to get on the countdown. And the last one that was an honorable mention that didn't quite make the countdown is when Spike swears during the '86 film. I don't know why that stands out to people so much, but it does. When he says, "oh, something." I don't usually like to swear here on the channel, so I'm going to avoid doing it. What do we do now? We all know what the line is. It's the last honorable mention. Let's move on and kick things off by looking at number 10 first. And number 10 is actually just one word, but it's an iconic one word, and it's one that people either love or they at least understand and appreciate its significance to a specific character, and to some it's just annoying even though it's well known. And of course I'm talking about Beast Wars and Beast Wars Megatron's cry of "yes." It comes in at the number 10 slot. It is one of his mannerisms that people either like or they don't like, but either way, everyone can agree that it is certainly iconic and well known. And for that reason, he takes the number 10 slot. Number 9 takes us right to G1. Actually, it's been said in G1, it's been said in video games. I believe it was even uttered in Transformers Prime, if I'm not mistaken. And that comes from a Decepticon who usually doesn't say a whole lot. That being Soundwave with his cry of Soundwave superior, Autobots inferior, or sometimes Constructicons inferior, someone inferior. Again, kind of like I did with Grimlock earlier. All of the Soundwave superior, such and such inferior. Some people just voted for Soundwave superior. I lumped all them together because he has uttered it in many of his incarnations and iterations, and for that reason he takes the number 9 slot. Number 8 sticks with the Decepticons. In fact, it sticks with perhaps one of the darkest scenes in all of Transformers history when Megatron, having Ironhide dead to rights, utters the phrase, "Such heroic nonsense," before blasting Ironhide into oblivion. I think most people would agree that it was one of the most sobering 3 words ever said in Transformers, and for that reason it takes the number 8 slot. And going from 8 to 7, we go from darkness to light, if you will, with a phrase that was already famous to begin with, has become even more famous since the first film, when it was uttered even in the very first trailer by Optimus Prime. Freedom is the right of all sentient beings. We have heard Optimus say that so many times, and it still stands true. It's perhaps one of Optimus's most well-known sayings. It is one of the most significant, and it certainly speaks to his sense of justice, and for that reason it takes the number 7 spot. Number 6 delves into sarcasm, with perhaps the most sarcastic of all Transformers, that being Springer, when he utters, "I've got better things to do than die tonight," in the '86 film. Again, I think that most people would say that this character in general was known as being kind of a smart aleck, kind of a smart mouth, and there's a perfect example of it. One of his earliest phrases, one of his earliest smart mouth lines, but the one that has endured, and in fact, most people today still use it just in general colloquial slang, saying, "I've got better things to do today, tonight, than die. I've got better things to do today, tonight, than go to the grocery store," whatever. It's obviously a play on words that has surpassed not just from the franchise, but become part of mainstream culture. And for that reason, it takes the number 6 slot. And we're here once again at the halfway mark, and the halfway mark seems very fitting to stick in the universal greeting said by many, from Hot Rod to Wreck-Gar to this guy, Kup, who I believe said it first, the famous words, "Ba weep gran na weep ninny bong." Anybody who's a fan knows that that's the universal greeting. To anybody who's not a fan, it's probably just gibberish. Nevertheless, to the millions and millions of Transformers fans, young and old, everybody at some point, somewhere along the way, knows that the universal greeting is in fact "Ba weep gran na weep ninny bong," and for that reason it takes the number 5 slot. Number 4 sticks with the '86 film, and it actually relates to one of the more, I'm going to say, iconic scenes of the film because of what it represented. We all know that Megatron was thrown out of Astrotrain and reformatted into Galvatron, and one of the first things Galvatron did was return to Decepticon headquarters to see Starscream reveling in the glory of finally fulfilling his dream and being leader, to which Galvatron says, of course, "Coronation, Starscream, this is bad comedy," in the classic voice of the late, great Leonard Nimoy. And I think that it probably stands out, not just because it was kind of funny and fitting for the time, but it was really what ushered in Starscream finally getting his comeuppance and being blasted into smithereens, well, into ash. And for that reason, it takes the number 4 slot. With only 3 left, we go to Optimus Prime, and even as recent as the Netflix War for Cybertron Siege series, this is a phrase that right from G1, episode 1 at some point, to I believe it was episode 6 of Siege, Optimus at some time has always said it. And it's one of those lines that we as fans wait to hear, He's going to say the thing, when he utters, "Autobots, transform and roll out." Now some people said just roll out or Autobots roll out, but the vast majority, and some just said transform and roll out, but the vast majority said the full thing, Autobots transform and roll out, as Optimus is called to action when they are rolling into action. And for that reason it takes the number 3 slot. Now number 2 has been said by many characters in the franchise. In fact, it's been said by Optimus Prime, and it's been said by Megatron. What phrase is it? None other than "Till all are one." It is the kind of call to unity, whether it's under peace of the Autobots or under peaceful tyranny. of the Decepticons. It is an ideal that all Transformers characters look toward so that hopefully one day the Great War can end. And so that takes us to NumberOne. And NumberOne is usually associated with Optimus. But a lot of people, when they voted for it, said, well, the first part is said by Optimus, the second part is said by Megatron. So I'm going to stick with that, because why not? And what is the most iconic phrase as voted on by the fans? One shall stand and one shall fall. There you go. That is the NumberOne, and I don't know if there's a phrase any more iconic. It was first uttered in the '86 film when they had their climactic battle, followed by other iconic phrases like "Why throw away your life so recklessly, Prime?" That's a question you should ask yourself, Megatron. Both of which garnered a great number of votes. Not enough to make the honorable mentions or the countdown, but I wanted to mention them with the NumberOne because they're kind of all associated with the one scene, the one conversation. But as voted on by the fans, one shall stand, one shall fall takes the top spot this time around. And that's it. With hundreds upon hundreds of votes cast, this was a hard one to kind of keep everything organized and tally. It was a lot of work putting this one together, but I was very interested to see how the votes would go. There were so many great phrases, so many great quotes, and so many people said, I don't think I can pick. So many people voted for so many phrases. It was such a hard one to put together. Everything from Ratchet and Transformers Prime saying, I need that, to shut up, Rat Trap, to, I don't know, what was another one in here? I'm trying to find a good one here now in all of the notes. There's a thin line between being a hero and being a memory, uttered by Optimus Prime. There you go. So many great. Of course, we had to go from 10 down to 1, and we did that. Let me know. Let me know what you think. Let me know how your list would have turned out. How many of these would have appeared on it? Would they have been in a different order? You know, I love to hear from you guys. I appreciate you coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, don't forget there's a donate link. You can check us out on Teespring. You can see what we offer on Patreon. Or, of course, you can hit the join button right here on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button anyway. Stick around. Have some fun with us. Don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, man, you do make a difference. And I look forward, baby, to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres or the old-fashioned way, baby, right here inside the videos.